Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of an SMS AEP webinar. We are so excited today to have our guests from Agent Methods, who I'll introduce here in just a few minutes. I'm Jeff Sullivan, Associate Director, Assistant Vice President here at Senior Market Sales on the Medicare Solutions side. Again, I just want to thank you for being able to join us today. I know it's a very busy time of the year with AEP prep, but I think you made a very wise decision to join us with Agent Methods on automating your AEP, how to engage clients before, during, and after AEP to make more sales. So a lot of great information here today from Agent Methods. Agent Methods has been a great partner of SMS for many years. I know going back to working with Aaron and Joseph and now Rob's newer to the team. Again, I'll introduce Rob here in just a minute, but I always love seeing the crew from Agent Methods at, industry events, whether it's the SMS Sales Forum or, Medicarians or, other NABIP and different events that Agent Methods attends. They always have the best swag, the best T-shirts, stickers, but always just happy to see them and how they are engaging with agents. And we couldn't be happier to have them as a partner to help agents with building websites and automating everything that they're doing. Just a couple of housekeeping items real quick. I do have the question, the Zoom question, the Q&A open. Chat is not open on this webinar, so if you do have any questions, I know that we will have some time. I'll be checking it as Rob is going through his presentation here. But if you do have anything that comes up, if it can be answered during the webinar, we'll jump on it right away, or we will have some time at the end to go over any questions that we aren't able to answer during the webinar. But without further ado, I will stop talking here and hand it over to Rob Oxenford. He is the Director of Strategic Partnerships with Agent Methods. I hope I got that right, Rob. But excited to have Rob. He actually did a presentation for us here at Senior Market Sales during our marketer meeting a couple of weeks ago. They have a ton of great opportunities to help agents, and I'll pass it over to you, Rob. Thanks for being here.
Oh, no, thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate it. So good morning, everyone. Like I said, I want to echo what Jeff said. Thank you so much for jumping on the webinar today. I know we're all very busy. I think we're at like 35 days to AEP. So definitely I know everyone's getting everything ready to go so we can kind of kick off October 15th and make this the best AEP we've ever had. So really appreciate your time today. So first off, hang on. I'm not clicked on my presentation. There we go. Like I said, like Jeff said, my name is Rob Oxenford. I am the head of strategic partnerships here at Agent Methods, and that is a photo of me. So we do go to a lot of industry events. You'll see us at a lot of conferences. Definitely feel free to stop by and say hello. I've been in the industry for about 2.5 decades, and I love meeting new agents, and I love talking about insurance. So please stop by and say hi. Would love to meet each and every one of you on the call today. So like I said, I do work for Agent Methods. Agent Methods was founded in 2009 and to help insurance agents growing their sales. And the key term there is insurance agents. We only work with insurance agents and agencies and really work to develop processes to make sure that they're growing their business. In those 15 years, we've launched over 5,000 websites. And I'll say this, we've learned a lot. We've learned how to be successful online and also how to be successful with your clients. We've also created an automated platform to really help you with building better relationships with your clients throughout the entire year. We're going to be going into all these things today. So, but as we get started here, one of the questions I want to make sure I ask everyone is, how did last AEP go? I know that we're getting very close to this year's AEP, so I want to know how last year's AEP went for you. I know it sounds like a loaded question, and there's a lot of different answers, whether this is your first AEP last year or your 12th. But, the thing we always look at, when we look at our clients and we look at AEP, there's always going to be challenges, all right? But now we see challenges coming from kind of different directions, especially from a technology aspect, and really in the scope of how our clients actually interact with us and their Medicare. So what I want to keep as we go into AEP here, really keep in mind some different curveballs that we're going to be running into. And by curveballs, I mean things I just want to make sure we're keeping top of mind as we kind of move through this and actually throughout the entire year. And the first thing, and number one, is today's seniors are more digital than you think. I still run into agents today who tell me that my clients don't use email or my clients don't use the internet. And I'll be honest, I would have agreed with you probably about 15 years ago. Maybe 10 years ago in some parts of the US. But today's T65s have been using computers in their workplace probably the last 20 years. We need to make sure we're keeping that in mind. Because when you see a chart like this one, where you see that we've had a steady increase of people over 65 utilizing the internet since 2001, and even last year in 2023 it was 88%, and I've already heard that for 2024 it's over 90%. And if you look at the age group below this, which is that 50 to 64 age range, it's universal usage. So as you think as those people move into the 65 range, I would say in the next probably year, maybe even 2 years, we'll see universal usage of the internet across all age groups. And also when you think about seniors, the average amount they spend on tech in 2019 was $394. And in 2023, it's more than doubled, which makes sense if you think about it. I mean, when you think about seniors, they're more likely to buy a new laptop, buy a new iPad, or even buy a new smartphone. They're willing to adopt any new technology if it makes their life easier, and it also keeps them connected with the outside world. And when you think about connecting, that's actually the number one thing seniors are doing online. The number one thing they're doing is going on to social media. They're adopting it in droves because, one, it keeps them in contact with, say, old classmates, or it keeps them in contact with family members from across the country. But the number one reason they all are going there is because it's where they see photos of their grandkids. We don't really print off and give out photos anymore. We post them on our Facebook, our Instagram, and so on. And so seniors are going to these platforms and interacting quite extensively to make sure they're staying in touch with their families. Number two thing they're doing on there is organizing their finances. They want to be able to view their retirement accounts. They want to be able to review their bank accounts to make sure that they're not only being frugal with how they spend money, but also just making sure they're watching for fraud, everything like that, and want to be able to pay bills online as well. And number three, it comes to improving their health and wellness. I don't know about you guys, but me, only way I can talk to my doctor is through a portal. I have to schedule my appointments through there, do my prescription refills, get results for tests and everything like that. And seniors are no different, and they're really wanting to see this, throughout their entire journey. And even their insurance carriers are wanting to see this kind of same digital steps. Now, also, number two, AEP really begins in September. And what month is it? It's already September. So we need to make sure we're being aware of this because, like I said, as seniors are going online, they're starting to actually do their own research before meeting with agents. As you can see here, since 2004, last 20 years, we've seen a steady increase in the overall searches when it comes to Medicare, especially Medicare Advantage. And you can see that upswing kind of going up. That actually is September, as clients are starting to do their own research, starting to look at what changes are taking place, what different policies out there prior to sitting down with the agent so they can feel like they're having an educated conversation. And the key here is to make sure they're getting that information from you, to make sure that you're the source of authority, you're the source of the correct information, and they're going to you for that. Even you see in 2021, there was a 30% jump in the amount of people that are searching Medicare. So just something to keep in mind there. Number three, this is one of those numbers I love putting out there. At 10 clients a day, that you can see 540 people during AEP. That's where you kind of max out, right? But the thing about it, in order to see that many clients in a day, or doing all of AEP, it takes a lot of planning. And you have to make sure you're really taking care of really the productivity killers out there. The number one productivity killer is scheduling meetings. Now, this isn't just insurance. This is all industries, but anyone have a guess of how long it takes to schedule a meeting back and forth if you're just doing emails or phone calls? It's 15 minutes is what it is. So, which doesn't sound like much when I first heard that. But then when I start looking at 10 meetings and 15 minutes for each meeting, that's 150 minutes. That's 2.5 hours of your day spent just to make a full day of appointments. And if you look at the full 540 appointments throughout the entire AEP, that's 135 hours. That's over 3 weeks of your time spent just focusing on getting your appointment set up for AEP. So we want to make sure we're doing what we can to automate this to make sure that people can see our schedule and get on it without us having to interact. Also, number two, chasing down SOAs. Now, this is important, as we all know. Not only do we need to make sure it's in place, but we need a way to track it. And there's different ways we can do it. We can hire someone, we can have a spreadsheet, or, we utilize other systems. We want to make sure we're keeping that and we're not wasting time having to track those down prior to an appointment. And then number three, spending time with the wrong customers. Now, when I say wrong customers, I don't mean the ones that, you don't, you don't want to work with. It's more the customers that say can actually do self-enrollment, the ones that aren't seeing major changes, the one that can utilize your link to go into the system and really self-enroll. I want to make sure you're pushing those clients that way so you can focus on those clients that are, say, losing a health plan this year or seeing a change in benefits that you need to have a deeper conversation with. So when we look at AEP, it really can mean two different things for us. One is it can mean an absolute exhaustive period of time, or it can mean an awesomely easy peasy form of time. I don't know about you, but I'm jumping in the convertible here with Cluck and going on the awesomely easy peasy side of things, right? But we can only do this if we actually put together a framework, right? And actually look at several things. One, the customer life cycle and how we're interacting with them. Number two, having an AEP prep checklist to make sure we have certain things in place at different time frames. And also number three, putting it all together, right? So as we look at the customer life cycle, we really have to start with how the customer first comes to us. And we need to look at how referrals work today, right? I love it when an agent tells me that they work on a referral basis, because that tells me they're taking care of their current clients, they're meeting their needs, they're probably exceeding their needs, and they're referring clients to them. But the thing that always comes to my mind is, what about the ones that they're not hearing? What about the referrals that never make it to their desks, never make it to their voicemail, or never make it to their calendar? Those are the ones that I want to make sure we're really capturing those as well. Because when we look at how referrals work today, it's a little different. So here we have Cluck. He just turned 65. I know he looks great, right? And he's talking to John here, who turned 65 last year. And he asks, hey, who did you get your Medicare coverage from? And John's like, hey, you know what? I talked to Isabella Planwright. She's great. She took care of me. She answered all my questions and got me set up on the right policy. And then Cluck says, thank you, hangs up. And let's be honest, most of this conversation probably takes place over text. It's not really probably over a phone call. But no matter what, Cluck's going to do the next step that we're seeing clients do time and time again. The first thing he's going to do is go to Google. He's going to type in Isabella Planwright. And the reason he does this is because he wants to see if Isabella Planwright is the right fit for him. He wants to make sure that Isabella has the right expertise. Isabella is a trustworthy agent that's focusing on Medicare. And the reason for it is because even though it's a right agent for John, it might not be the right agent for Cluck. Because if you think about it, they're going to have deep conversations with this agent to really talk about things that he's probably never even talked about John with. So he wants to make sure he's the right fit. So I really recommend, as people look at after this call, you go on and Google yourself to really see what happens when you put in your name. And usually we find several things happen. Number one, you don't see anything. Nothing comes up for you, which is bad. Number two, there's an out-of-date website that doesn't have up-to-date information. It was copyright 2008, or there's just not robust content to really meet and show that expertise that you have. Or number three, a competitor's website. If he had put Isabella Planwright in Medicare, Medicare is a hot word when it comes to search engines, especially on Google. And so we'll see a lot of competition come up there. And so we want to make sure as a local agent, we're really kind of showing up in that. Because the thing is that if Cluck here didn't feel that Isabella Planwright after what he saw online, you're losing that referral. So all that work you put in with John, taking care of John's needs, making sure John was happy with the service that he got to refer people to you, is going to be lost by a simple Google search. So I want to make sure we're addressing that, right? Because when we look at people today, really what they want to do is they want to meld both that kind of offline and online throughout the entire buying journey, right? Today's consumers want the convenience of online, but they also want that personal touch that agent is there for them for when they need them. And it's more than just the buying journey these days. It's really about throughout the entire customer life cycle that clients are wanting to kind of weave these two together. And when we see and we poll different clients, we have the same thing comes up every time. When it comes to in-person, the things they want is they want someone there to help them with filing claims, making changes to their coverage, or even requesting assistance, right? But when it comes to online, they want to be able to get a quote, get education and insurance offerings, that information I mentioned, and also making payments. And so when I see something like this, I think it's really helpful because, in other words, customers are really wanting agents to focus on the things they're really good at, helping them through those complicated processes and being there to kind of hold their hand through all these difficult things. So that's where we really come in, and we need to really, like I said, focus on that customer life cycle, because there's a whole kind of steps everyone goes through that: acquire, retain, cross-sell, and referral. And I feel it's the best way to understand this as we kind of look at it. And when we look about marketing and so on, most agents and most people just think on this acquire side. This is where most insurance agents spend most of their marketing energy and budget, buying leads, paying for ads, pay-per-click, all these things like that. And when we say marketing, we think about this kind of acquisition, but really that's transactional marketing. It's, really not about building relationships. It's just about generating referrals, really. It's just about getting in contact with people you don't know. And when you think about it, businesses focus about 3 times as much on acquisition as they do on retention. So really, we need to almost change our way of thinking and really look at this other half, actually more 3/4 of that life cycle on retaining, cross-selling, referral. Because when we look at this marketing, it's taking away that transactional thinking and really about building better relationships. And there's significant data that shows that marketing to people at this area actually works better when it comes to generating referrals and additional sales, because we're literally getting into relationship marketing. The truth is, if you do this right, you don't need the first step, because this will be generating additional business for you again and again. The example I always like to think of is Tesla, right? They didn't start high volume. They started with relationships, really, and a passionate base, and they grew from there. If you think about Tesla, you don't see any acquisition marketing. You don't see Labor Day sales. You don't see advertising. You don't see TV ads. They've essentially been referral only this whole time and have grown a whole business off of that. But in order to make sure we're building those relationships is where we get into this AEP checklist. And this is where you're going to get a bit of a to-do list for me to take care of in the next 35 days. The best way to look at this is the timeline. We have our pre-AEP, during AEP, and then post-AEP, right? And right now, we are well into pre-AEP. And the thing we need to make sure we're taking care of is we want to make sure we're contacting our clients. But number one, we want to make sure we're updating our website. There's been changes this year. Not only our normal annual changes, but CMS has had new rulings, different offering of benefits have changed. We want to make sure we're updating our website to have all that information. So when our clients go to our website, that's the kind of, like I said, authority. That's where the information that they can look at and review prior to meeting with you. So you want to make sure you've got CMS compliant information out there, the latest content, and also just this overall professional experience from the clients out there, even a referral. Now, start sending out monthly email newsletters. Like I said, we're 35 days out, so there's still time to get one out prior to AEP. But you want to you continue to send those out throughout AEP to make sure that your clients are aware that you're still in the business, that you're still there for any questions they have, and that they need to get an appointment set up with you. Also, you want to make sure you're sending out email campaigns, once again, about educating customers. There's been a lot of changes this year, and you want to make sure your clients are aware of it, because if you can address some of that prior to them sitting down, it's just going to make the appointment that much more efficient. And then the last one here is schedule a post-AEP retention and cross-sales campaign. This is one I always hammer out there, and the reason is because once you get through AEP, December 7th rolls around, you want to take a break, you want to enjoy the holidays, you want to get ready for OEP. So you want to make sure you have that plan in place that it can automatically just start sending out any cross sales that you're kind of looking to do in the following year. So schedule that now while you can think about it. So now we've kind of got pre-AEP, October 15th come around, and now we're during AEP, that wonderful time between the 15th and December 7th. And really with this, we want to make some changes for that as well. I know we've already kind of talked about updating your website with information, but now you want to update your homepage to make sure your messaging is out there like, hey, we're in AEP, schedule an appointment with me. Or also if you have any self-enrollment links, you want to make sure you have that link front and center on your site, and also any appointment setting. But that front and center link, and make sure they have the self-enrollment, for those clients who can go through that process, you want to make sure it's as easy as possible for them to get it set up. Also, launch automated appointment settings. You want to make sure your calendar is open and that you have everything ready to go. Make sure that 48-hour rule is in place. Make sure you've got that automated scope collection process in place to make sure you're doing all the things you need to be doing to make sure you're compliant, so you don't have to worry about it and your client doesn't have to worry about it. Then also continually email outreach to clients. The reason I say this is that we would love, all of us would love, if all of our clients on October 15th had all scheduled with us and ready to go. But you and I both know that we're going to have those clients that are going to be on December 1st finally setting up an appointment with you. So you want to make sure you're continually outreaching to your clients about changes, about getting on their calendar to make sure they sit down and talk to you, make sure everything's taken care of prior to the deadline. So you want to keep that in mind. So now made it through AEP, December 7th. We're done. We've got into post-AEP. Now, post-AEP is everything from December 7th all the way back around to pre-AEP. So it's how we're keeping our clients engaged throughout the entire year for renewals, cross-marketing, referrals, everything like that. And the way we do that is an email newsletter every month. Now, these take some work, but you need to send them out every month because If you send them out every month, the client is going to get used to contact from you. They're going to get used to that repetitive information and say, hey, oh, it's another email from Rob. And it sets this foundation of trust when you start sending other things out. Also, you want to stay present on social media. Like I said, seniors are moving to social media in droves because it's how they're keeping in contact with people. So you want to make sure you're there as well so that they know you're present. They know that you're aligned with them. They know that you're out there kind of in the world, and they can send and send those posts off to other people. Also, you want to make sure you've got a retention campaign for OEP in January so you can avoid any switcheroos or anything like that. And then also, like I said, scheduling cross-marketing campaigns, referral campaigns. These are key. And once again, that newsletter really sets that foundation for when you start doing these other pieces because they're used to hearing from you. Suddenly, I'm not the guy they just hear from once a year when they need to do their AEP appointment. They're hearing me throughout the entire year. So it's things I've put together. So you're probably wondering, Rob, you just gave me a massive to-do list for the year. So how do I put this all together in an efficient way? And that's really where we come in as Agent Methods. We help you putting it all together by automating your AEP as much as possible. And the first thing we do is actually websites. I will say we have one of the most advanced insurance website platforms ever. We make amazing websites. Yeah, they're beautiful. As someone who's had for a while, I love the functionality this has. But really what this does is it sets this wonderful foundation for an online presence, but as well as all the other marketing we do, it really directs people to one spot as the authority and also how to get a hold of us and set up appointments. And let me get rid of this blue square here. When you look at our websites, one thing that we really focus on is we want to make sure it's tailored to you. There's a lot of companies out there that have, say, different templates that just kind of set up a website. For us, we want to make sure not is it only branded to you, but it has the functionality you're looking for. So ours is a lot more like Legos. We want to make sure we're able to put it together to meet not only your needs, but also your clients' needs. With us, we fill up everything from, putting the different insurance verticals on there, different pearls you need, anything you need on your website. And when you actually sign up with Agent Methods, we have about 2 weeks, about 4 different meetings you meet with our customer success team, and they help you kind of outline and build the site to make sure it's tailored specifically to you. But as we all know, we probably all know someone who can build a website, whether it's some cousin, some guy we went to high school with, some brother-in-law who can build a site for us. And the one thing we really shine on is actually creating the content on the back end. So every time you add an insurance vertical, we create all the content that's underneath there. And the nice thing about us creating that content is also we monitor that content. We keep it up to date on any annual changes. So, as an example, Plan K has a new out-of-pocket every year. We update that every year. That way it's different in 2024, different in 2025, 2026. We go out and make all those updates on an annual basis for you. We also make any regulatory changes. If CMS suddenly comes down and says, hey, you can't use the word plan anymore, we would remove it from all our sites in about 15 minutes. Because one thing we want our agents to do is they can trust the information that's out there that their clients are seeing so they can focus on other parts of their business. And also I mentioned that, we do a lot of insurance verticals. We do life, health, P&C. We have content out there for each and every single one of those. Also, one thing we do to our websites is we have weekly blog posts we put out there. And the reason this is key is this is fresh, new content that's on the website every week. I'm going to tell you this, search engines love this. They love new content, new websites being updated all the time. So putting this weekly blog post out not only helps with directing people back to your site, it really helps if someone's looking for, say, a local Medicare agent in their area. For us, one thing we really strive for and we embrace is compliance. And so with all our materials, we actually work with a third-party audit company called Telos Actuarial. They review all our materials to make sure that they're not only CMS compliant, but they're also in line with state regulations and also in line with what carriers want to see on our sites. We also work with TPMOs, and then also we incorporate our 48-hour rule when it comes to our online schedule. And I'll get a little bit more into that in a bit. But now that we've got this site set up, which, like I said, sets that foundation for an online presence and gives us a kind of a landing page to kind of push everyone back to for information, for different processes, appointments, seminars, everything like that, is where we start to get into Amplify. Now, Amplify kind of goes on top of all this. And this is where we start getting that automated marketing I mentioned, because this is like a layer on a suite of marketing automation tools that really help you with building relationships, increasing renewals, referrals, and also just automatically mining your contacts for additional sales and different lines of coverage here. And like I said before, everything starts with a newsletter. That is one of the most important things I think an agent can do in order to keep their clients engaged. And it builds trust, let's be honest. It also keeps you top of mind. It drives people back to your site, but it sets this wonderful foundation for other marketing. People are used to getting the information from you. Also, the amount of times our newsletters have been forwarded to people as a referral for contact information, but it always directs people back to the site. But since we've set this foundation of people getting regular contact and keeping us top of mind, it really helps when we are looking to do cross-marketing campaigns. Because if you don't do that and you just set out a cross-marketing campaign, a lot of times it just comes off maybe a little wrong. It has decreased open rates, definitely decreased click-through rates. But on our system, once again, not only are we designing all the materials for our newsletters, we're also designing all the content for our cross-marketing campaigns. We have around 1,200 cross-marketing campaigns out there. We've got some that are really kind of focused on holidays. We have some that are just focused on getting referrals, but so many of them are really focused on different products that you're already offering, but just really kind of driving your clients back and letting them know about, educating them on different lines of coverage that they really need to be looking out for. And it also shows that you're caring for them. You're making sure that, any gaps in their coverage you're taking care of, but it kind of builds that customer and really drives them to take action and reaching out to you about different product lines. Like I said, we create all the cross-marketing campaigns and we also, personalize it for them. When we actually set up our campaigns, we actually link up with your CRM. So as an example, let's say I wanted to do final expense to all my Medicare clients. On our system, kind of pre-AEP, I said about set these up for post-AEP. When you go into our system, we literally set up, I want to market to all my Medicare clients or even like my T65 final expense. So when we look at those tags, that's actually the list we pull in from your CRM and start doing a drip campaign on campaigns you've selected to really help drive sales in a particular, let's say it's final expense or long-term care, any of those. But the key is we're trying to automate it. So you can focus on other parts. And then when they come in through these campaigns, through the landing page, it's just showing up as appointments on your calendar. Now, also I mentioned about really going where your clients are at, and that's where social media comes into play. For us, we actually integrate with Facebook and LinkedIn. We are a development partner with both those, and we should see Instagram here in a little bit. But the key is that we're creating posts for you on a daily basis. Every Monday through Friday, we are putting posts out there from your agency. And the way we do this is it really helps with interacting with your clients so they can like, comment, and share. And not only are they seeing it, but as they interact with it, it's showing up in their friends' different news feeds. I have a story here that I probably shouldn't tell, but I tell all the time. When I first set this up, I actually linked it to my LinkedIn account, and I completely forgot about it, to be completely honest with you. I logged into LinkedIn about 2 weeks later, and it said that my post engagement was up 262%. And I was like, that's amazing. I haven't posted anything. So I went to my profile and I noticed that I had 2 weeks full of posts from Agent Methods. And I had likes, comments, and shares. And it was actually interacting with my audience while I was focusing on other parts of my business. And I think the thing that really intrigued me about that is that, to steal a line from Ron Popeil, I really kind of was a set it and forget it. I forgot about it, but I knew that it was still driving traffic back to my site. Because as your clients are getting more engaged in social media, you want to make sure you're engaging them there, and so that they know you're top of mind, you're there for them, they're there for any of their friends, family, and so on. So you really need to make sure you're engaging them on a daily basis out there. Now, obviously, driving people back to this website and everything, the next step is actually them getting on your calendar. And this is where we want to make sure we're saving as much time as possible and really automating this appointment setting process. Now, our scheduler is magic. It's like a personal assistant with that contacts your prospects and books appointments for you. We're able to integrate with your online calendar. So whether it's Outlook or Gmail, we're able to set that up so we can show what availability you have. We also automatically follow up on leads via email and SMS for you. And also appointments show up on your calendar and ready to go. Because really, you want to look at the same that kind of customer life cycle. How people are getting your calendar is also a life cycle, from automated invitations to online scheduling to really kind of get that digital scope of appointment and 48-hour rule, and then also those appointment reminders to make sure they show up to it. And how it really works, especially when it comes to AEP, which is what our big focus is obviously right now, because that time is ticking away for that one. Prior to AEP, we actually sent out a series of emails and SMS messages to all your clients. Even during ACA enrollment, we can do that one as well, to really make sure they're getting on your calendar. And the nice thing about the SMS messages, we have about 98% open rate on those, and usually response time with under 90 seconds. But the key is it really pushes them to get on your calendar, and you're actually being able to do it on their time to find what works best for you, as opposed to going back and forth, back and forth. Also, just FYI, because I know this question comes up quite a bit, we take care of all the opt-outs and unsubscribes. We remove them from the list, and also update your CRM to make sure that that's in system. But after they, accept the invitation, they look at clicked over to your calendar, they can see when you're available. They can sit down with their spouse and figure out, hey, what's the next, when are you available on Thursday, and so on. But that 48-hour rule is built in there as well. So when they're looking at it, they're not going to see anything that's under that 48 hours. They're only going to start seeing that appointment shield that are outside of that. But it removes that back and forth. Like I said, it syncs with your calendar. So if you already have existing appointments on there, or if you have, say, certain activities that, hey, every Tuesday night I, am at softball, you can have that on there to make sure that, we're working around that schedule. But also after you get that set up, it creates a personalized web meeting link. That's personalized to that client to make sure there's extra security, no one else is getting in there, and so on. Like I said, we also automatically capture that scope of appointment and take into place that 48-hour rule. So you don't need to go kind of back and forth like, hey, is this person set up? Do we have this taken care of? The reason I say that is because with our scope of appointment outreach is, let's say they fill out the appointment and then they just close the screen and actually don't fill out the scope of appointment. At that point, we start to do our outreach to them. We send them emails, SMS messages, make sure they've completed the scope of appointment. If they don't complete it, 24 hours before the appointment, we actually cancel the appointment and send them a link to reschedule, notifying that it was due to scope of appointment not being completed, because we want to make sure our agents are compliant. But being compliant is just one step of it, because one thing you want to make sure is that you're able to view it. You're able to see that, who's filled out the scope of appointment, who's observed that 48-hour rule. So we've created a dashboard on the back end too, to really show that not only can you download all the SOAs out of there, so you have those ready to go, but also you can view kind of where the compliance is. If you ever get a question from an upline or CMS or a state auditor, or any of those things, you can say, hey, this is how I'm making sure I'm adhering to these rules. This is how I make sure that everyone is compliant, that everyone I'm meeting with is set and ready to go. So you can see here that John and Alice Coltrane are set up and you're ready to go with appointment because the scope appointment is completed. And also you can see up there with Miles Davis and Pam Davis. With that one, Miles has filled scope of appointment. That doesn't stop us from doing our outreach, because we're going to continue outreach until we get Pam completed as well. Because even if they add a spouse later, we make sure that that's completed prior to sitting down with the client. So like I said, one thing we really focus on here is outreach and really helping you build a better relationship with your client. So when you look at our system, it's a whole collection of things. 12 newsletters, so it's every month we're sending out a newsletter to your clients. Social media posts, 260 social media posts. That's lots of social media posts every working day. 48 blog posts, it's every working week. 24 email campaigns. It's doing 2 email campaigns a month for cross sales. Also, project scheduling via text and email. So when you kind of add all those together, we're actually reaching out on your behalf to your client 350 plus annual touch points a year to keeping you engaged with those clients. When we look at kind of our response we get from our agents, one thing we get is, thanks to Agent Methods, I had my first AEP without losing a single Medicare client. For us, we love 100% retention. We want to make sure all the agents have that, so that way they can build upon that and build that kind of snowball effect of really increasing their agency. Number 2 here, Janice, who I just talked to the other day, she saved the price of a phone person to set all her appointments and keep them straight. That means keeping care of the scope of appointments, making sure 48-hour rules, but she had over 600 she had to meet with. She also has different things coming up this year with some different plan changes. And so we talked about different ways to make sure we're focusing on what clients get on our calendar first. And also David Wilson here. First, for anyone involved in Medicare, because we take care of that compliance and regulatory measures, they're all built in, because everything we put out there, we want to make sure that our agents are compliant and everything's in line with what they need to be, and they can trust what we're putting out there. But in all, when we look at our overall agents who utilize our platform, we find that we use 40% less time on marketing. That's 47% more time they can spend with their clients. It's 47% more time they can spend with their families. And that's what we're really looking at. How can we give you time back on your calendar to focus on other important things with your agency? We also see our agency 60% more referrals, because they're staying top of mind with their clients and that they know to refer people to them. Number three, 78% more customers buying multiple policies. The wonderful thing about multiple policies is it creates this wonderful stickiness when it comes to your clients. If someone has, say, one line of coverage with you, I think it's 50-50. 50% whether or not they're going to stay with you. If you get up to two different lines of coverage, it gets up to, I think, about 80%. But if you get three lines of coverage, it's up to like 98%. So basically, they'll stay with you as long as they need insurance. And then also 60% are likely just to overall see their sales increase because we're keeping you top of mind with your clients. We're making sure we're mining them for additional sales opportunities on different coverages you're offering because we want to make sure we're meeting all their needs. So one thing, like I said, we love SMS and our relationship with SMS. So one thing we do have set up is we have a special discount for SMS agents. You can go to agentmethods.com/SMS agents to book a one-on-one demo. And with that, we'll give you a discount. We have a $500 setup fee. We waive that specifically for SMS agents. So you want to make sure you utilize this link so they know that you are coming from SMS and we can get that set up. So anyway, that's all I have. So on to the questions.
Pull myself off of mute there. Thanks, Rob. A lot of great information. Do have a few questions. So is there a replay of the webinar? Yes, we will have the webinar recording sent out. We'll have your marketer follow up with you, or we'll also have it most likely on our AEP Central site. So if you haven't been to seniormarketsales.com/AEP, that's where we, host all of our first look docs, anything from carriers, and then especially any webinars or anything that we're doing, most likely will be there. But I have the folks who are asking for a replay of it that I can send it directly out to you. Can you go through the discount? Like what does so you have a $500 discount, but Rob, can you kind of, with the partnership with SMS, if they were to go direct to Agent Methods, what would they be paying? I mean, is it just as easy to say you're going to get a discount of $500, or is there more involved there?
Not really. I would say it's more that discount of $500. So when you actually set up, we have a monthly subscription fee. But really what it is, it's the setup fee. That $500 is everything from, like I said, covering those first meetings of making sure it's branded specifically to you, it's meeting your needs. So if someone was come directly to us, that's just a charge they have to bear. Best way to say it. So in other words, that first month, they would probably be paying actually $800. When it comes into it, because it'd be the setup fee plus the cost that first month of utilizing the service. With us, with SMS and our partnership, we actually waive that and just start them right at that. For the full package, it's $299 a month. So we start them right at that, at the $299, and waive the $500 fee. So.
Perfect. So I just had another question of what is the fee? So the $299 per month.
Sure. Yeah. So we actually have what we call kind of different levels. If you're looking for just the website with all that functionality, all that content, and the blogs, everything like that, that is $149 a month. But as you look at adding Amplify, which is everything from the social media posting to the newsletters, the cross email marketing campaigns, to the scheduler system I talked about, that's $299 a month. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, and I would recommend, if you are interested. Rob is showing here the schedule your one-on-one demo. That's at the agentmethods.com/SMS-agents. Have it pulled up here on my laptop. But yeah, if you just throw your information in there, that goes directly to Rob and team, and they'll set up a one-on-one demo, get you more information on the cost, on the different levels. If you're looking for everything that Rob went over, from the Amplify to scheduler and all of that, is a great opportunity for AEP for year round as well. I mean, not just for AEP, but is very important at this time of year. So getting back to it, I couldn't recommend more of just going in and picking a time to meet with them one-on-one to learning more.
Yeah, and one thing I'd add on that too, Jeff, is once you set the one-on-one demo, well, obviously a lot of the stuff we kind of talked about in the webinar today is really kind of concepts of like, this is how we do it. This is what you need to be doing. The nice thing about the one-on-one demo is they can really show you how our system works, how easy it is to create the website or make changes and so on. But also they can have a lot more conversation with you about your specific needs, your agency, kind of what are functionality you're looking for, where do you kind of struggle when it comes to, say, relationship building or marketing. And we can really see how we plug into that. So that's one thing I really recommend everyone getting on a one-on-one demo, because it's a lot deeper conversation. So yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah. And so I have another question here. What happens if they cancel? So let's say they have it for a couple of months and they cancel. Do you remove, the back postings on the LinkedIn pages? Do you do any, more getting in the weeds here, but that is a question that is coming up.
Yeah, probably the biggest thing. So anything we've posted out to your social media, that remains. We don't take that back, anything like that. Same with any newsletters, email campaigns we've already sent out. The biggest thing that happens when you say cancel the service is, number one, is we actually have to shut down the website because it's on our system. Now, you still own the domain name, so you can do whatever you want with that and build anything else off that. But more of our system and the integrations that we have with your CRM and things like that, all that gets shut off as we kind of, have to kind of back off and kind of remove ourselves, not the best way to say it. But, we find with a lot of agents who, once they get through those first couple of months, they've seen that the kind of automation and the contacts they're getting and the referrals, that's usually when they want to more actually look at how can they add more? How can they do more of what we're doing? It's probably the bigger conversation. But the website's probably the biggest conversation that comes up if they were to cancel the service. Like I said, nice thing is about it, no matter what, you own the domain. The domain is in your name. We set it up that way. So if it's like, for instance, mine's oxbrokerage.com, that's forever going to be mine, no matter what service I'm utilizing. And so they always remain that, so they can always port that over to another service. But with us, everything else would stay. So, yeah. And we can always reactivate it too. If they leave and like, oh no, I actually do need this, we can reach out, we can reactivate everything. So
great. Going to throw a question at you here, Rob. So we've recently partnered with Agency Block, integration through Senior Market Sales with, the Agency Block, the AMS Plus version of Agency Block integrates with our Lead Advantage Pro platform now. Can you touch on how you guys are integrated with Agency Block and how that might work or benefit an agent who's using, Agency Block and SMS tools and now has the opportunity to use agent methods as well?
Yes. So we have a very strong integration with Agency Block. It's actually a two-way integration. What that means is that when I talked about the cross-email campaigns about being able to set up certain tags. So let's say I want to set up as like anyone who's T65 or anyone who's a current Medicare client of mine or Medicare lead. By utilizing those tags, when you set up that cross-email campaign, we actually reach out to your Agency Block account and pull any client that has that tag to create the list we send out. Now, the nice thing is about having a two-way integration, anything we send out also shows up on that client's platform. Their page in Agency Block. Yeah. So if I look up, say, Rob Oxenford, I say, oh, he just got my final expense across email. I just saw he got my long-term care. Oh, he opened it. We give that information so there's that way that not only will they receive, but what they may be reaching out about, if they recently just got something from you. So with the Agency Block, like I said, it's probably our strongest integration because we do have that two-way. We integrate with a lot of CRMs, but we find with some of them, we're just able to pull down information and we can't do the upload. Whereas Agency Block, we can upload information. So you have quick, up-to-date information on anything we've sent out for them that you've set up. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I just wanted to connect the kind of the dots there. We've been doing a lot of promotion of the Agency Block. We think it's a great system, and it integrates really well with Lead Advantage Pro through SMS. And then this is just another great opportunity to add another integration with a great company like Agent Methods to help, essentially just keep you organized and keep your leads all in one place and your integration all in one place. So I couldn't, give a bigger recommendation to using both Agent Methods and Agency Block, with the integrations that we have with both. So good opportunity there. I don't see any more questions, but if you do have anything last minute for anybody online, we'll give it another minute here or so. Rob, did you have any kind of closing comments or anything that you wanted to provide?
One thing I just want to say is obviously, we have such a focus on AEP right now, and I want to make sure that everyone kind of can get this checked off their list. But, like you said, one thing our focus is really building relationships throughout the year, making sure that we're keeping you top of mind. So even outside of AEP, when other your clients are receiving mailers or seeing Joe Namath on TV, stuff like that, they know that you're their agent. And if they have a question about their policy or have a question about, they're talking to one of their friends, that they're reaching back out to you. And that's really what our focus is just how we can get you in front of your client more without taking you away from the current client you're sitting at your desk. So really kind of keep that in mind when you're looking at a system like this. is, kind of where that benefit of really kind of retaining business and kind of building on top of that year after year. So,
Perfect. Yeah, no, I could, echo that. Just throughout the year, the integration, the automation, the opportunity, very valuable when we're thinking about it, right? You showed that September when everybody's thinking about Medicare and their agent. But to echo you again, so many times we get agents that call and say, hey, this carrier's calling my client and they saw a commercial on TV, or they're asking about, this product or whatever it may be, and our response back to that agent is always ingrain and educate in your clients that whenever they see that too good to be true offer from Joe Namath on TV, that you're the first person that they call. Before they see that carrier commercial come across the TV, make sure before they call that 800 number, they call you. And this only puts you more out in front of your clients and new prospects when you have a great website, when you have a great dripping tool to where you can get those articles and things out. So, this is another opportunity for you to get in front of not only your current clients, but, more prospects too. So yeah, that's a great comment. Make sure that your clients know that you probably have access to that product, or if they want to call Joe Namath, it's probably too good to be true and they should be calling you, and you can educate them in the right way. So yeah, that's great.
I tell people all the time, what you want is your client to say, if they get a phone call or you get a mailer, basically say to themselves, I already have an agent. Throw it in the trash.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Or give me a call and I can walk you through why I didn't put you on that plan and why we did make the decision to put you here. So, or AEP is a great time of the year to do that too. So, yeah, I don't see any more questions, but Rob, thanks again.
Thank you.
Partnership with Agent Methods. Aaron and team, you guys do a great job of getting agents everything that they need to be successful, not only for AEP, but all throughout the year. So again, thanks for joining, Rob. And everybody online, go to agentmethods.com/SMS-agents, fill out that form to schedule your one-on-one demo, learn more about the integration with SMS and Agent Methods, but most importantly, learn about what Agent Methods can do for you this AEP and beyond. So again, thanks, Rob.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate everybody's time. Have a great day.